I feel I have to say a piece about this phrase that I used to throw grenades into the normal discourse of relationships. And of course, I meant that because relationships follow a normal, unstated, undeclared, unconscious course. And women and men, we're all full of expectations of how things should be or things will go and what advances in intimacy, escalations mean for us. And unless somebody names these things or reframes these things or states really clearly what they want or don't want to happen, we're just going to follow the traditional cycle of relationships. So to throw grenades into all of that is to really say, no, it's not going to be this way. I want it to be this way. This is a non-starter for me. This is the highest aspiration that I see for both of us. This is what I want to create. ... And you lead the direction by making those strong declarations with your words. That's a grenade. The thing is, though, is that you can do all of that and chart a new path for your relationship. You can open up a radical new conversation with your partner and have a relationship kick off unlike anything else that ever came before it, right? And you can have magical new levels of intimacy and closeness and shared allegiance, conspiracy. Yeah, both of us, we see eye to eye. We're going to have a different kind of relationship to everybody else. And we're in on it. We're working together, consciously discussing the paradigm that we're building together as we start the relationship. And there's so much more closeness in that. Now, it takes a few grenades to bust most women's mentality open enough so that they'll have that conversation with you. A lot of the time, the woman's mentality will actually be more advanced than yours anyway, and she'll be laughing at your slowness to catch up to her worldview. But let's say you're throwing grenades on the normal discourse of relationship. I don't think that alone is enough to permanently and forever disrupt the natural decline of passion and attraction that you have for each other. And I don't think it's enough to continue the spark permanently. And I know for sure that many of you in this conversation share the fear that one day the passion of your relationship will run out and then you will feel maybe impotent to do anything about it. And then she will end up preferring her independence than being with you, or finding a guy who stokes her fires more than you, or the relationship will split up and then you feel impotent after the relationship and it takes you years to get any sense of mojo back so you can start dating again. And there's just a lot of ground to feel crushed, right? We lose the relationship, we feel crushed, we don't know what to do. So linked to that is this fear that the relationship's going to run out of passion and run out of steam. How can I avoid that fate? And I want to suggest that actually you're not going to avoid that fate, no matter how much conviction and artillery you can throw at the course of the relationship to try and get it to go higher, deeper, become more passionate. At the end, the cycles of life, I think, are going to catch up with all of us, and they always will. I think a relationship is built on seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and that you will have your autumns and you will have your winters. And I don't know how much tantric, Olympic, superstar, sexual rejuvenating practice you can do is ever going to arrest the cycle of birth, stabilization, decay, death, restart. So take these grenades that we've been discussing and liberally smash them and thrash them throughout your early dates with women. Moments when you get into conflict, where there's like a do or die moment. Are you going to go deeper? Say the thing that's really on your heart, like a king's speech, kind of boom. I'm going to speak from my absolute depths and do what you can, of course, to make the course of your relationship more beautiful, more from the heart, less conventional, less contrived, less conditioned. But I think these seasons are going to catch up. And I just want to offer this perspective so you don't live in fear that your mojo is going to run out and your sex life is going to cool off. I think it's much better just to accept that that will happen even in the midst of the greatest relationship, and to accept that, own that, be okay with that. Even you can throw those grenades at the relationship. Hey, our sex life is kind of sagging lately. Wow, I do get kind of worried that you're going to the gym and other guys are looking at you, and I don't like that. I feel jealous. I want to do something about it. I want you to look at me always like that. I think it's really okay to own the fact that we go into this decline. The problem is not accepting the decline. Because if you don't accept the sexual decline, then it becomes a thing that you won't say, a thing that she won't say. And because it's unspoken, it now gets frozen over. So not only are you in the seasonal decline, which is natural, but you're not willing to talk about the decline, accept the decline, joke about the decline, make a real laugh and a play about the decline. Call each other bro and sis, and wrestle over the remote control over Netflix, and catch yourselves in that moment and call it out. Hey, we're in the epitome of the comfort zone right now, and it's been a month since we last made love. Here we are. Those are kind of grenades that I think you need to be dropping right the way through the decline, and at some point when you've got the time or the energy, or when you hit a real low, or you get some time apart, you can do whatever you need to do to maybe kill off a certain phase of a relationship and start a rebirth. We could talk more about this, but an energetic closure, say in the pagan calendar, December 21st was the shortest night of the year, and there would be some kind of marking the death of the year. Then you've got 3 days in which you would go away or hibernate or hide. And then it's actually Christmas Eve that you suffer through the long night finally, and you celebrate in the complete darkness and the death of everything. And then Christmas morning is the moment where the sun comes back up. So just looking at the rites and rituals of a year, I think there's stuff that needs to be built into our relationship where we mourn a death, where we ritualize a closure of a certain chapter, and we take distance from each other, and then we come back with a renewed vigor and a renewed energy. And for me, I think there's something about long-term relationships that stay the distance. They're willing to admit when they're in autumn declines. They're willing to admit when the virility is low and they just want to hibernate. And then they're willing to, okay, this is the darkest night. We will ritually close a phase and take distance from each other in order to top up our energies, to restart. So what am I saying? Don't be afraid that your virility is going to run out. Don't be afraid that your sex life is going to run out. Don't be afraid that your relationship will lose the passion and go into a downswing. Actually, by embracing that natural cycle, you will then genuinely start to reclaim the power to do something about it, and talk with her. You can keep some secrets about what you're going to do to refine your virility. That's part of the eros and the mystery and the charm. But also say, hey baby, this autumn season is dragging on, and the passion's seeping out, and I want a relationship with passion with you, and I'm happy to cut something here and then come in and relaunch relationship number 2 within our existing relationship. I think this is maybe my most elegant way of sneaking out of the natural cycles. I don't care how much grenade throwing, virility, how aligned you are with your life you are when you start the relationship. Give it 4 or 5 years, and you will succumb to the elements and the seasons. They're a lot bigger than you, despite your great intentions.